Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagvatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagvatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. So I'm so grateful to all of you for joining today. We are reading Granth Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4. Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe. So we are just two verses pending in this chapter. So we'll read those and take a quick synopsis of this chapter, and then take some reflections, comments and questions, and then we will, if time is still there, we will move to the next chapter. So those devotees who didn't get chance to read yesterday would like to start text 45. Vamsi Vilas Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, everyone. Text 45. Putran Vipra Tikulan Swan Pitra Putra Vatsalam Upala Bante Shikshartam Naivagham Aparoyata. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. A father and mother are always affectionate to their children. When the children are disobedient, the parents chastise them, not due to enmity, but only for the child's instruction and welfare. How did Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad Maharaj, chastise such a noble son? This is what I am eager to know. So Yudhistira Maharaj is continuing to ask his questions to Narada Muni, and very valid question, because we know that every parent is very affectionate and loving towards their children, and we see in the previous verse that the Narada Muni told Yudhistira Maharaj that Hiranyakashipu tormented this exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is confused. How can a father hurt or torment their son, and let alone a son who is such a great devotee, who has all the best qualities, who is exhibiting the greatest love for the Lord? How can such a nice person be tormented? Thank you, Prabhuji. Please, if you'd like to add or correct.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nicely you explained. Yes, parents are the best well-wishers of the children. Every parent loves their children more than themselves. We discussed that. And yes, sometimes they may correct, or for the child's welfare only, they may, be externally angry, or they should be externally angry. Let's put it this way, because sometimes anger dominates, and they may be rough upon that child, and the parents may also get under the grip of the anger, and then that anger may control the parent, and then they would try to control the child. That is not a very healthy approach. Someone's phone is not on mute. I request to please keep your phones on mute when you're not speaking. So, but generally, the parents are the best well-wishers of the children. So, no one would torment their child to the extent of trying to kill him. That is inconceivable. So that's the question of Maharaj Yudhistira. Okay, let's read the last verse of this chapter.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I can read.
Please. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. The last verse. Kim uttanuvasan sadhurams tadrasan gurudevatan etat kutuhalam brahman asmakam vidu vidhama prabho pitu putraya yattevaso maranaya prayojita. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaja Yudhistira further inquired, how was it possible for father to be so violent towards an exalted son who was obedient, well-behaved, and respectful to his father? O Brahmana, O Master, I have never heard of such a contradiction as an affectionate father's punishing his noble son with the intention of killing him. Kindly dissipate our doubts in this regard. In the history of human society, an affectionate father is rarely found to chastise a noble and devoted son. Therefore, Maharaja Yudhistira wanted Narada Muni to dissipate his doubt. Thus the end of Bhaktivedanta Purport of 7th Canto, 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagvatam, entitled Hiranyakashipu Terrorizes the Universe. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So as you already nicely explained, generally, the fathers are always, respectful to their kids and only want to chastise them because of their own well-being. But here we are seeing so much contradiction that, the son is a very noble and he is a Vaishnava, but the father doesn't understand, and that is the reason. So even in this society, sometimes we see that even when the kids, I have seen, in my brother's case also, initially, when they want to become brahmacharis, but sometimes, and the parents doesn't agree. So because they are engrossed in material nature initially, but I think after a few days they approve. So that actually happened to my brother also. So even initially my father was not very, but my brother disobeyed and he joined, but later. So in this way, in this material society, it is very difficult to understand the pure devotional service of the devotees. Please, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, very, very interesting thing we observe here, that yes, Hiranyakashipu, or we'll see that later also, but this verse is also showing that point, that Hiranyakashipu was very harsh upon Prahlad. Practically, he made every attempt to torment Prahlad. But what are the qualities of Prahlad mentioned in this word? Very obedient, well-behaved and respectful towards his father, which shows that he did not harbor any ill feelings, any envy against his father, who was trying to kill him. Imagine, imagine ourselves in that situation. Someone trying to kill us, torment us by different ways, but still being respectful and obedient and well behaved towards that person, that is extraordinary. Prahlad Maharaj didn't show tit-for-tat mentality. Prahlad Maharaj was an extraordinary devotee, didn't pray to Vishnu so that his father can be destroyed. Even at the end he's prayed, we will see that later, that how he wanted the welfare of his father so that Lord can deliver him. As Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj said, I desire greatest benefit even of my worst enemy. A pure devotee like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Prahlad Maharaj has no enemy, but even those who think that devotee to be his enemy, the pure devotee desires their benefit also. That's what we see in this verse also. And the father was trying to torture in multiple ways, but the son didn't do anything wrong towards the father. So I really like that lesson. Okay, so with that, we will do a quick summary of this wonderful chapter, which is entitled Hiranyakashipu Terrorizes the Universe. So in the last chapter, chapter number 3, the Hiranyakashipu, the great demon, had plans to become immortal, and we studied and read how he performed tapasya for hundreds of celestial years, extraordinary tapasya which no one had ever performed. Imagine, his whole body was chewed up by the ants, Valmika. And then Lord Brahma comes and Hiranyakashipu would ask for various benedictions, and that I won't be killed in day, night, weapon, and this, and inside, outside. Hiranyakashipu received all those benedictions, and that's how this chapter starts. That Brahmaji gave all those benedictions which were very, very difficult to attain, but still he got them. And then there's a nice verse, text number 2 of this chapter explains that material benedictions often become curse, which we will see later. In this case also, we discuss the same thing in the Harsha Shoka story, Chitraketu Maharaj, how he was asking for a son. I want a son, that's the cause of my suffering. If I get a son, I'll be very happy. And then later the same son became a cause of distress, because the queens and the other, the co-wives of Kritadyuti, how they poisoned Bhasmasur. He asked for a material benediction. I want it, on whosoever head I put my hand upon, that person should be roasted to ashes. That same benediction became a curse for him. So one should not ask for material benedictions, especially from demigods. That's the lesson there. Finally, now Brahmaji leaves, Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe. He had attained extraordinary powers. He controlled practically everyone. The Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Charanas, the Bhutas, the Pishachas, the Nagas. Everyone became a servant of Hiranyakashipu. He took the Indrasan, the throne of Indra. He took the jewels and the pearls, and his palace was bedecked, because it was Indra's palace, bedecked with corals and diamonds and pearls. Extraordinarily fame, name, beauty, power, strength, everything he had. And he started to use his power for wrong reasons. So that's a great lesson, that power means responsibility. Whether it is wealth power, knowledge power, or any kind of power, administrative power, or power means responsibility. We discussed the example of Yudhistira Maharaj, how he used power in right purpose. We discussed Lord Ramachandra, the ideal king. But here we see Hiranyakashipu was using his power. The word comes that he was severely chastising the demigods for no reason. That's utter misuse of power. Severely chastising for no reason, that means misuse of power. He wanted to show, see, I'm powerful than you, I'm better than you. And to show that, I will chastise you. And you wouldn't be able to do anything because I'm better. Because I have more strength. I have special benedictions from Lord Brahma. So that's a great lesson, that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So one should be very, very careful. We all may have little power in our little ambits, but we should use it very, very wisely. Not only the demigods, he started exploiting Mother Earth also. All the 7 oceans, the 7 islands, Jambudweep, etc., the 7 oceans which are full with sugarcane juice and ghee, etc., he started extracting them. He started extracting the Mother Nature. He could get anything, even if it out of season. There was no clue of, no question of someone not providing him anything. It is said that the demigods would personally bring. He would ask, "Oh, I want a mango from Nasik." The demigods will bring in their own hand. Hiranyakashipu Maharaj, please take this, what you asked for. What to speak of the demigods, the Gandharvas, the Apsaras were dancing. Even Narad Muni, who is narrating all this, is saying, "I also personally used to sing in his court." And his foreigners, Adagol Maharaj was explaining that they were singing Hiranyakashipu Maharaj ki jai. Stava, the word comes as stava. Stava means it's a form of a poem or a prayer. They were offering all glories to Hiranyakashipu. But a very, very important verse is text number 19. Imagine the opulence. We have briefly discussed that in the text number 5 onwards, text number 18. The opulence he had achieved. He had conquered everyone except Lord Brahma, Shiva and Lord Vishnu. All the demigods, Vayudev, Indradev, Suryadev, they were his servants. But still he was dissatisfied. Text number 19 explains that. He was dissatisfied because he was a servant of his own senses. The word used is Jitendriya. Ajitendriya, sorry. Ajitendriya means one who has not conquered one's mind and senses. He was a servant of his mind and senses, and that was the reason for his dissatisfaction. In spite of having all the diamonds and the rubies and the demigods serving and the apsaras singing and the dancing and Gandharvas, still dissatisfied. Still dissatisfied because of lack of control of mind and senses. And then the demigod situation is described. They were really disturbed because of all this, and they were really tormented. We discussed they were chastised for no reason. Their kingdoms were taken by Hiranyakashipu, and due to all this, they finally understood that let's take shelter of Lord Vishnu. Because if to help us, only Krishna can help. Other demigods cannot help. And the example given is like holding a dog's tail to cross over the ocean. What hope one has? Practically, there is no hope. So we can cross over this ocean of material nescience and the Bhavasagar by holding the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Narottam Thakur explains in the Gauranga Karuna Karo Bhajan, Podichi Bhava Tufani Nahika Nistara. I am caught up in this violent hurricane of material world. Nahika Nistara, there is no exit. Shri Charana Tarani Dane Dase Koropara. But there is only one hope, one exit, Shri Charana, the lotus feet of Shri Radhika and Shri Madhava. When we hold the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and his wonderful incarnations, that is the only hope. So that's what demigods are showing. So they approach Lord Vishnu, but they could not see him. And the lesson there is that we cannot see Krishna by our material senses. But there was a transcendental sound which they could hear. So the sound of the holy name is a transcendental sound coming from the spiritual world. And text number 20 explains that it was very, very encouraging. It drove away all the fear. And what did the sound speak? That I will come very soon. But how soon? Krishna, we are really suffering. Please tell how soon. So the demigods then reply, the Lord, that sound spoke that when my devotee will be tormented, when Hiranyakashipu will start, then I will appear very shortly. So I know all the situation. I know how Hiranyakashipu is troubling all the planets. So please have faith. I will come soon. So the lesson over there is Krishna does not tolerate Vaishnava aparad. Haristhane aparada harinamatar, tomasthane aparada na paibyar. That point is coming twice or thrice in this chapter actually. It will come later also. But in this chapter only that point of Vaishnava aparad is so serious, is coming 3 times at least. Then the demigods show a very nice lesson in text number 29. They had complete confidence that practically Hiranyakashipu is killed. That situation had not yet happened till the end of the chapter. The chapter ends that Hiranyakashipu will start to torture, so Hiranyakashipu is not yet killed. But having that firm faith in the words of the Supreme Lord, having that firm faith that the holy name will deliver, the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra will never go wrong. So that lesson we can derive from the demigods, that they had firm faith in the words of Krishna, in the holy name, in the transcendental sound, that will never go in vain. Finally, Narad Muni starts to glorify Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. And that shows a great quality of Narad Muni, that only those who are non-envious can glorify others. And practically, Prahlad Maharaj was Narad Muni's junior, correct? He was his disciple. So, to glorify someone who is on a lower level, only a saintly person like Narad Muni, who is non-nirmatsaranam. So that quality we see. And not only he just says he was a nice devotee. No. It is said that opportunity to glorify is rare, so one must use it whenever it comes. So he's speaking practically like 15 to 18 verses just to glorify the saintly character of Prahlad Maharaj, and such nice, amazing qualities he's sharing. That how he was Jitendriya. The word used in text 19 for Hiranyakashipu was Ajitendriya, and that was the cause of his dissatisfaction. But Prahlad Maharaj was not like his father. Although he was born in a demoniac family, but he had all the Brahmanical qualities. Why? Because he was an unalloyed devotee of Lord. And one who is unalloyed devotee of Lord, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, one who is rendering sincere bhakti, sarve gunai tatra samasate sura. All the divine qualities will manifest in that person who is rendering akinchana bhakti, sincere unalloyed bhakti to the Lord, to Lord Krishna, the master of all, the servant of, the shelter of all. He was the best friend of everyone. He did not harbor any enmity against anyone like his father, was always envious. And then text number 31, 32 are the memory verses. 32 explains that how he was dealing with three kinds of people. One who were senior, he was dealing with lot of respect, learning from them, being tadvidi pranipatina pariprashna sevya. We should subordinate ourselves. You should feel humble and in a humble state approach our seniors. With the equal, he was like a loving brother, being very empathetic, being on the equals, not trying to show I'm better. The most difficult part in Vaishnava relationship is to deal with equals. With seniors, we naturally take a lower position. That's very natural. With lowers, we may, try to give them, and that's what the Prahlad Maharaj was doing, who was trying to help them. And that's, Vaishnava is very compassionate. So trying to help in whatever way, by helping in inspiring in Krishna consciousness. But the difficult part is dealing with equals, because the conditioned mind wants to say, oh, I'm better than you, and then the other person, oh, I want to be better than you. But the point there is not to prove I'm better, you are better. The point is to help each other, to inspire. I need you, you need me, we both need each other. We are God brothers, God sisters. The spiritual master will be pleased when we together in non-envious environment, in a healthy, cooperative, congenial relationship, make spiritual progress. As we read in the story of Prachetas, that Lord Vishnu was very, very pleased. Why? Because they together render bhakti. That is difficult in this day and age, but that's the lesson. That's what Bhagavatam is teaching us. So the qualities continue. He was free from pride. Imagine, his father was like billion times more powerful, more stronger, more richer, more beautiful than anyone in this world. Imagine how that son, imagine if our father, well, our real father is Krishna, who is the father, but if our father, who's our blood father, if has that position, how much pride may come, which is pretty natural. Everyone, demigods are serving in their home. They're bringing all kinds of preparation. But Prahlad Maharaj had no pride because of his birth, or his learning, or his devotion. He was very, very humble. He was not agitated when he was put in danger. Very, very amazing quality. And everything material he considered useless. He was not absorbed in childish things, krida. Small boys, girls, boys want to play with cars, girls want to play with dolls. Very simple. And the same thing grows in adults also. Adults play with bigger cars. Young boys play with smaller cars. The concept is pretty same. Both are material. So, but Prahlad Maharaj was not interested in all that. He didn't want to waste his precious life in materialistic things. And he was steady in his mind and his determination, not agitated, unflinching faith in Krishna, remained silent in childish playing things. He was completely, people say, oh, Shani Graha has conquered me, oh, Rahu Graha has conquered me. So Prahlad Maharaj was conquered by Krishna Graha. One who has conquered or overpowered by Krishna Graha is totally in love with Krishna, is in madness with Krishna. The other Shani, Rahu, they were serving Hiranyakashipu actually. And Hiranyakashipu could not do anything, what to speak of other Griha. So their servant of Hiranyakashipu couldn't do anything. Hiranyakashipu couldn't do anything. So the Shani, Rahu, all those Griha were basically serving Hiranyakashipu. So how could a pure devotee be overpowered by any such planetary disturbances or Griha? He was fully absorbed, and then ecstatic symptoms come. He was crying for Krishna, he was dancing, he was laughing in complete absorption, sometimes in separation, sometimes in union, and completely ecstatic symptoms were erupting from his body in a pure, unalloyed love for Krishna. And then the text number 42 explains the power of association. He would share. He would try to inspire others also by his saintly association. He would not take others' material association, although he was practically in the demoniac family, but he was still a devotee. Same as Vibhishana. He was in a demoniac family, but didn't take their demoniac association. But he was giving association, and he was always surrounded by devotees. And then finally, this chapter comes to an end, and then Hiranyakashipu would torment his father, his son Prahlad, and then Yudhistira Maharaj is asking this question to his teacher, which is a great lesson there, that we must approach bona fide teachers to ask our spiritual questions in a very humble state, which Yudhistira Maharaj is showing. His question is, we just read that today, that how could a father torture the son? No father tortures their son. No parent tortures their child. But how could Hiranyakashipu do, and why and how? So this chapter ends on this note, and we will see later all those things. So, but Prahlad Maharaj didn't show tit-for-tat mentality, was obedient, was respectful. So he wanted the greatest benefit even of his worst enemy, like Hiranyakashipu. So thank you. This is a quick summary of this chapter. So let's take some reflections, any comments, and then we can take some questions also.
Hare Krishna. This is Bhadra. Dandavat everybody. Thank you for Subhavilas going through whole chapter nicely. I will take some time. I'm sorry. Srila Prabhupada loved this whole this part from Srimad Bhagvatam. He was very, very fond of it. And why? Because he had also gone through the difficulties in his life. That we will discuss later. Let's look at first the text 33 in the translation. And the last paragraph I had discussed that he always controlled his senses and life here, and being steady intelligence and determination, he subdued all lusty desire. What is lusty desire? Lusty desire is the desire to be for your own sense gratification ultimately. That is the lust. Something we do in material world anywhere, this is for our own senses, that is lusty desire. Prahlad Maharaj, how did he do it? He said control his senses, number one. And control his life. What does that mean? Life here means the soul. Soul has a desire to have the separate gratification than the Lord. So that is the life here. But then once the life here leaves, there is nothing left. The body is just matter. So he had that desire to always to serve the Lord, and he kept that in mind. And how did he do it? By the steady intelligence and determination. So we also learn from his point is in how he did this point. And we all face, all material world, everybody is facing this situation. Everybody in material world is for self gratification, including myself. But this is what we are learning from Prahlad Maharaj. So that's the one point. That's the one point. And another point is that the as you all discuss about I don't know all of you who are in the Srimad Bhagvatam, this group, and most of you looks like to be coming from India. I can see that, and I don't know everybody, all of you. But believe me, we are living in and because, let me put it that way, because usually sometimes father loves or mother loves the son and the daughters. That is natural, because you all are, I can see, you all are coming from and I myself also coming from the culture where father loves the son and daughter. But when it comes to the sense gratification of individual, and if it's not done it for their own sense gratification, then the things can happen which is completely against even the love, so-called love of the father or son or mother or wife or the son, husband or son. When the person goes to the devotional service, then these things happen. And we have seen in ISKCON, they were the many devotees, son and daughters of that, they joined, and they had to go through the whole what do you call the special words is used. They had gone through that from their parents. They had hired the people to brainwash, and they were tortured. The parents had told their sons to torture their daughter and the son who joined to Hare Krishna. We have seen this. So this from Prahlad Maharaj, we can see this, how even all the family relatives, even family members can do that when you join in the devotional service. We have seen this again and again. Srila Prabhupada had to go through this. Now the last point about Srila Prabhupada. Why Srila Prabhupada like this? Look at his life. He had a sons and a daughters, wife, sons and daughters, and living whole family. And not just after leaving, what he had to go through. He had nothing. He didn't have any money to buy dhoti and kurta. That was his situation. And then he goes to the Gaudiya Math, and I'm not here to criticize anybody, but this is the fact and reality. And when he goes to Gaudiya Math, he's given the shelter, but his main point was to, he had that instruction from his spiritual master, and that was he had concentrated on, to please follow the order of his spiritual master. And for that, he had to go through difficulty from his own Gaudiya Math, which he was helping when he was Grihastha in Allahabad. He would give donation. He would have devotees come to his place. But the same Gaudiya Math people did not even care for him. And he had to leave. And he had nothing. And how was he living in Delhi? We know. He would go to printing the books. He would go, he would edit, he would do everything. He would buy papers, he give to them, and then what happens? He would try to sell the back to Ghare Patrika, and the people, and he had a stroke. The cow or whatever they hurt him. He was fall down, and then he was staying in the place in the Delhi, which was in the temple, which was not proper. And then he comes to Vrindavan, and the same thing happens. But of course, he took the shelter. Krishna gave him intelligence. Krishna within the heart guided him, and he took stays in Vrindavan. And then he has to go through the difficulty to get a passport and all these things. And he came to United States. After United States also coming, he had to go through difficulty. See. And then, of course, Krishna saw his determination. Krishna, this is by the example of Prabhupada, we can see how the difficulties arises, because it is easy for me to say everything to all of you. It's easy for me. But when it comes to practically applying, it's not easy. So from Prahlad Maharaj, we are learning that how, and from Srila Prabhupada's life, we can learning how he had to go through to fulfill the order of a spiritual master. And then Krishna gave everything to him. And after that, what he did, even if he had everything, Srila Prabhupada had everything, but he was not attached. In the last days of his life, he had everything. He had a big palace in the New Vrindavan. He had a good place in Los Angeles. But when he was in January, February, March in 1977, he was in the hut, staying in Bhubaneswar. He was so happy. He was not attached. For him to stay in the hut or stay in the palace, it didn't make a difference to him. Okay. So because of all these things, we can see from the life of Prabhupada, the same thing, and it is not exactly the same for Prahlad Maharaj, as Prahlad Maharaj was completely tortured by his own father. But how Prahlad Maharaj was so determined, the same we can see in the life of Srila Prabhupada. How he was constantly just being humble, keeping the goal in his forefront to just go on, and he achieved it. What he was told by his spiritual master. So these are the few points, and of course we will read more and more how in the few future chapters, and we are very happy, as Subala said told yesterday. It is fortunate that the Lord Nishinda's appearance is coming up, and we are on this section. We are on this section, which is very fortunate. We are very fortunate. We are reading this. We're going to go through all this pastimes of the Prahlad Maharaj, and of course Lord Nishinda. Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry for taking so much time. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else would like to share any comments, reflections? If everyone can share a point, that would be nice. After
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam devotees. Prabhuji, you want to say something?
Prabhuji, after you.
Okay, I'll take the opportunity. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, Srimad Bhagvatam, till the experience that I have right now in my life, it is the journey of life. And most of us have to go through the similar situation as Prahlad Maharaj or Srila Prabhupada. Most of us. Not everybody, but most of us. So this is my experience, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, our problems may be there, but to the scale, Krishna will test us to where we are. Like a first grader will be given 2+2 questions, ABC, etc. I don't know what, but a college postgraduate person will have that exam. So yes, you're right that everyone will go through. Not everyone will go through, but the exam will be proportional to their degree of surrender or their spiritual advancement. So I want to make that comment. Yes, Vipul Prabhu, you want to share?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. So in Gita, Krishna says, Yanti Deva Brata Devan. So if we worship the demigods, we'll go to the demigods planet. So, but we see that even being a demigod will be tormented again and again. We saw in the previous chapters, Cantos also. So there is no use of playing demigod and getting tormented in this metal world and in also those demigod planets. And also see that when demigods approached Lord Vishnu, Krishna, for the suffering, Lord is waiting for his pure devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, to come and to take action, not right away. So you can comment on this, Prabhuji, if I'm wrong. That is my realization from this verse.
No, it's absolutely correct. What you said is absolutely correct. It's a divine pastime, but the Lord is Mad Bhakta Pujyadika. He loves his devotee more than himself. Like a father loves the children more than himself or herself. The Vedic father, that's what, as Brother Prabhuji said, there could be is Kali Yuga going on, but a cultured Vedic Dharma follower. So you made a good point, Prabhu. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. And Nandini Kishore here. Text 35 says, Narad Muni told Yudhistira Maharaj, O Yudhistira, even demigods, what to speak of you, would cite Prahlad Maharaj as an example of a great devotee. So it's very nice to see that and even Parikshit Maharaj must have known about something about Prahlad Maharaj, but how eagerly he is listening, as if he is listening for the first time. Even Prabhupada's Guru, he noted that first quality he noted in Abhay Charan was he listens very nicely. This is an excellent quality, is that even when Srimad Bhagvatam, you can listen and learn and read every day as if you are learning and listening for the first time. And then the second thing is, and that's why he said, Prabhupada's Guru said that, oh, Abhay, don't worry about him. He will take care of everything. And then Prahlad was at two places at all same time, Vaikuntha Loka and Sutala Loka, and Lord himself asked him to accompany him in this Sutala Loka planet. So what a glorious devotee Prahlad is. Just by hearing Srimad Bhagvatam, again, he was here in the Narad Muni's ashram in Kayadu's womb, and he was hearing Srimad Bhagvatam, he was hearing Lord's pastime, and that's how he developed attachment to Krishna. And Hiranyakashipu here, standing for so many years on one feet, just had a desire to conquer death. So many thousands and thousands of celestial years, and he could not conquer his own mind. But Prahlad, just hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, he has become a exalted devotee that everybody glorifies all the time. Even Lord Chaitanya used to listen to Prahlad's pastimes many times. And Prabhupada here very nicely says, a devotee does not have to do anything else. Just naisargi ki rati, natural attachment. We just have to just fan the spark, just that one desire. One time Prabhupada was stopped by and asked by a devotee, Prabhupada, how do I really cultivate this love for Krishna that you have been speaking for last few days? He was a new devotee. Prabhupada said just one word, desire. So we just need to cultivate the desire and listen. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, all devotees. Dandavats.
Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful reflections. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just a small addition. As Mataji correctly said, that's fanning the desire for Krishna inside. But there are so many desires that they are there from a material perspective, that if they are fanned, they grow like anything. And that is what my experience is, Prabhu. When I say that Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam is our own experience, we go through the journey ourselves, inside our mind, inside our heart, we are able to understand that both aspects exist. If there is Prahlad Maharaj, there is Hiranyakashipu as well. Now the whole aspect comes to the point, how strong is Krishna consciousness? That are we able to see that Hiranyakashipu coming to defeat Prahlad Maharaj's aim is also Krishna? And if we see that it's all happening inside us, then we are able to understand it from a drishta's perspective, like a person who is seeing the whole thing happening inside. I may be, going in a different direction, but that is my own experience. So I just wanted to share that all these characters exist in one own self. We have to be very sure how we deal with them and how they can actually overpower us in our own personality, and what best can be the alternative to safeguard ourselves, our determination and our complete surrender to Krishna's lotus feet, and most importantly the association, if possible outside, but otherwise inside with Krishna. So that is my experience. I just wanted to share that. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else has any other comments?
Yeah, I'll just make one comment. It's a wonderful summary, Prabhu, you and Bhadra and all the other devotees. Well, the point that you already emphasized about control of mind and senses, I think that's very, very important lesson from this chapter. We see that all of us, I mean not all of us, but at least speaking for myself and many people in the material world, have very little control on the mind and the senses. And that's why all the things that are going on in the world today are a reflection of that. But then we have those of us who are fortunate to associate with the ISKCON and all its teachings, this Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad Gita, and so on, and also all the chanting. We have opportunity here to change that and little by little get rid of the sense gratification and pollution that exists within us. Thank you. Back to you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very, very nice comments and reflections. And it's coming from your heart. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Prabhuji, actually, I have one reflection here. So yesterday, actually, Khushi was practicing one sloka from Bhagavad Gita 3.27. So that is saying like that person is bewildered because of the false ego, and because false ego means because he is thinking himself as the body, not the spirit soul. So here also same thing happening, because Hiranyakashipu, maybe he was in the past too much attached to the Lord Vishnu, but he forgets everything because of the false ego, and he forgets the relationship with the Krishna, and that is why he was asking for the benediction. But Prahlad Maharaj, he remembered the relationship, so even after all the punishment, he never forgets the relationship with Krishna. That is why he never deviated from the line of spiritual devotional service. So that is my reflection.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. We also learned the meaning of your wonderful name, Subrata, that comes here in this chapter. One who has taken good vows. So everyone should be Subrata. Take good vows to practice sincere Krishna consciousness. You must take a vow. So, thank you, Subrata Prabhu. Anyone else?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. I just wanted to add one point already discussed. The most one that struck me was not being qualified at all by birth. Prahlad Maharaj became the greatest devotee who's discussed in every devotee listing. He'll come first because of his great surrender to the Lord, and we also read about all his wonderful ecstatic symptoms. So he's very exalted, but he was born in an Asura family. So this chapter proves that regardless of where a person is born, he can become the greatest devotee. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice comment. And Prabhupada showed that by his example, by transforming the lives of thousands and thousands and tens and thousands of people who were practically born in a very culture totally opposite from Brahmanical culture. So in the Kali Yuga, we can say it's a demonic culture, meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex. And they were doing all those, and then by Prabhupada's mercy, who is a pure Vaishnava like Narad Muni, complete transformation. It's an excellent point, Prabhu. Very nice. So we all have hope. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance. This is Raghunandan Das. Thank you for an excellent summary of the entire chapter. I have 2 points to share. One point was regarding to what you mentioned when you were summarizing. Prahlad was the son of Hiranyakashipu, and he was growing up in a very opulent situation. And you mentioned that he was never attached to it or never proud of it. And when you were mentioning that, another pastime came to my mind, the sons of Kuvera, Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. They were so intoxicated with pride because of their position and their father's position and wealth. So it was a good compare and contrast that came up for me. And the second point is the first verse that we read today, text 45, where it was talking about parents chastising or correcting their children when they are not doing something correct or doing something incorrectly. And then the point that was made in the translation, the verse itself, it said it's only meant for the child's instruction and welfare. So looking at it from two different perspectives, one is this is applicable even to any spiritual teacher, spiritual student relationship as well. So looking at it from the perspective of a student, when my spiritual superiors, it could be my spiritual master or Siksha Guru or just a senior devotee, if they are giving me some feedback or correction, or sometimes it could be chastisement, I should just see it, oh, they are so caring to me, and because of that they are correcting something that might prove to be very negatively impactful for me and even to others. So one thing that I always look at is, how many people in this world know that I exist, first of all? Very few. Out of the vast human population that is on this earth planet alone, not many people know that I exist. And out of those people who know that I exist, how many people are going to really care for me to come forward and give me some advice, guidance, or correction, or even chastisement if I am doing something wrong? So when these personalities are giving me that feedback, I should take it in that way. And then, so this is Krishna's mercy and the mercy of these devotees, that somebody cares for me and somebody is correcting me. And at the same time, many of us will be in the position of sharing Krishna consciousness with others. And when I am sharing Krishna consciousness with others, and when I am trying to give some feedback or guidance or sometimes correction, it should not come from the platform of enmity or anger. It should be just from the position of caring for that other person. So those are the couple of things that came up for me when you were doing the full review of this chapter. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for your reflections. Anyone has any questions?
Can I add one more point? I know time is running out.
Yes. Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you. As you had mentioned nicely in your that how this is difficult with the God brothers to have that understanding between his God brothers. And this was actually Srila Prabhupada was facing that situation with his disciples who were initiated by him at that time. Because that is the nature of this material world, to be prominent, to be I am the great, you are not. And that was Srila Prabhupada had to go on through. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, last thing he said is, your love can be shown how much you cooperate with each other. Okay? Because the ego comes in the way all the time. I'm better than you, even between the God brothers particularly. As you have mentioned very nicely, this is a good point. And that's why Srila Prabhupada gave that say, okay, you're going to show me your love, that to cooperate with each other. And that's why society can go on. Otherwise society can fall apart. And we see in India, in the Hindu society, even the Hindu doesn't accept with each other. They fight with each other. And look at the Muslims. Look at the Muslims. I'm not trying to build on the bodily concept of life, but this is the reality, this situation. Hindu will try to each other just put down when say something. This happened, and we have seen this again and again. So that's why Srila Prabhupada here said, cooperate. Even though other devotee, my God brother is not doing correctly, or he has some faults in doing some service, but still he said cooperate and help each other. As far as Raghunandan's point was about the Nalkura Manigriva, yeah, that situation is there, but at the same time we have hope. We have so much hope because we cannot be hopeless. Because we have hope that in Nalkura Manigriva, Narad Muni himself corrected them, and they were trees in the courtyard of Jashoda and Nand Maharaj, and they were noticing all the pastimes of Krishna. So that's what we have a hope here. Then we have Srila Prabhupada who has given this, and by discussing this in this coronavirus situation, this is great hope for us, because people are suffering in the material world at present, in this whole world. People are devastated to have them sit in the house for 1 month without doing anything, isn't it? So we have a big hope that we are, and we have given so simple life. And what the heck do we need? Reality. Just one room with a small kitchen and one bathroom. What do we need individually, isn't it? And we have learned this simple life, so we can go ahead with it. We can tolerate. We can go ahead with it. And this is nice. Thank you. Sorry to take up so much time. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, if you have any questions, you can also use the text. So, Sridas Prabhu asked this question, which we will quickly try to discuss. How did Prahlad Maharaj know about Vasudeva or Govinda, or Krishna's pastimes in short, since Krishna's came in the Dwapar Yuga, right, which was like about 5,000 years back, but this story is happening in Satyuga. So very interesting and thoughtful question. But we also know this fact that a devotee like Narad Muni is beyond all this, and so is a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. And this is a cycle: Satyuga, Treta, Dwapar, Kali Yuga. So Krishna's pastimes are eternal, and Lord Ram's pastimes are eternal. Lord Krishna's pastimes are eternal, and pure devotee like Narad Muni and Prahlad Maharaj are always immersed in those pastimes. So I'm 100% sure that they would be always, even Lord Ram's pastime, Lord Krishna's pastime, they are beyond the yuga. So it is not like it is like a circular thing. They are where does the circle start from? So we cannot. It's not linear. It's circular. So hope that helps. Any other quick questions? You can also use the text to ask questions, or you can speak now. Otherwise, we will end. Anyone has any quick questions?
Prabhu, I think not any other Mataji spoke. It will be very nice if they write down realizations. Kirti Mataji, Sundari Priya Mataji. Looking forward to your realizations. Thank you. All other Matajis, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we will take one Mataji can speak now, and then we will end, and others can write. Kirti Mataji, you want to share your thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat to everyone. We read that Prahlad Maharaj had very good quality, like he was a Shila Sampanya, he was very much passionate about his devotional service, he had very much nice relation with his elderly people and other devotees, and in that purpose Prabhupada ji said that this quality developed with the devotional service. Continuously devotional service will put the devotee in the same category, and the devotee will have the same quality like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as per my thinking, if we need to do the same quality as Lord Krishna, we need to do the progress in our spiritual life the way Prahlad Maharaj did, with the help of the spiritual master. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. That's such an amazing point. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to all the devotees, all the Prabhus and Matajis and devotees present on this call, and sharing your wonderful reflections, discussions, questions, comments. It adds so much nectar. And when we churn the nectar, we all feel, whoever shares, hears, asks, everyone is equally benefited. So I'm so grateful to all those devotees who are joining either personally live during the call, or who are hearing afterwards. Quite a few devotees are hearing afterwards also. And all those who are assisting in any way, either coordinating the call or posting, Silas Prabhu has been consistently posting the recordings, and then Ekant Prabhu converts them to YouTube. We recently started this, so because it's hard sometimes to go back and hear from WhatsApp, especially it's like, but in YouTube it makes it easier and it will stay for a long time. So thank you so much to each and every one for your participation, your enthusiasm, your discussions, your services. I'm so grateful to everyone. Grantraj Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaur Bhaktavind ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Sitaram Anantakoti ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.